Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi, and we are starting with breaking news this evening in Sorrento Valley. San Diego Fire, Rescue, and CAL FIRE have been busy all day with a brush fire, and some evacuation orders are in place. The fire has burned about 80 acres of hilly terrain close to where the 5 and the 805 freeways connect. We are expecting an update very soon. KPBS reporter Alexander Nguyen has been providing updates throughout the day on all of our platforms and joins us now. Alex, what is the latest?
Hey Maya, the latest acre is about 90 acres. Some people are starting to be able to return home, and it looks like the press update is happening right now. So let's go over to Jason Shanley from the San Diego Fire Captain.
To monitor the Genesis app, that's going to give you the most up-to-date information. We really want to thank our SDPD partners for providing the updates to that app all day today. That is another excellent coordination that we have with our city partner with SDPD to make sure that those evacuations are ordered and done in a timely fashion, and that's not happening if we don't have the partnership with PD. Really grateful that we're able to keep everyone safe today, and firefighters are going to be here throughout the night. We'll have copters flying above looking for heat signatures, and then that'll allow us to know where we're going to dispatch the crews to. Looks like the marine layer is going to come in, which is going to help us with the suppression of the fire. The marine layer is really good for us, helps to keep the heat signatures down, and gives us a little bit more time to be able to fight the fire if and when we see flare-ups throughout the night. We have 100 apparatus here, close to 400 personnel that are still committed to this fire, and we'll have 24-hour watch until this fire is completely out. And again, just want to say thank you to all of our county partners, specifically to CAL FIRE, for the air resources that were on hand.
And that was Jason Shanley with San Diego Fire and Rescue with an update on the Sorrento fire. But that wasn't the only fire that kept crews busy in San Diego County today. Around the same time this morning, a fire broke out in Oceanside, and it was called the Airport Fire. And it was much smaller in size, about 3 acres. It was burning just north of the 78 and Canyon Drive. An evacuation order was issued there, but has since been lifted. And if you have the Watch Duty app on your smartphone, there's a good chance that you got an alert about today's fires. Last year, KPBS met with those who worked to gather that critical information. Coming up, we'll bring you that story and show you how Watch Duty has become a trusted source for fire information.
We have some low clouds lurking late tonight, and over the next few nights, we're going to see those marine layer clouds return to coastal areas. We'll get down to around 61 in San Diego tonight. There's still a little bit of a breeze in some of the mountains this evening. And by the way, a beach hazard statement in effect from late tonight through Thursday afternoon. Rough surf, big waves as well. Beware the beach dangers. Both Boris and Christina, 2 East Pacific storms staying way to the south down in Mexico, though. We'll have details ahead.
Before the current Trump administration, immigration arrests at military bases were a rarity. But KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis says over the last year, dozens of immigrants have been arrested on San Diego's bases.
As an immigration lawyer, Stephanie Alcala has learned not to be surprised by the lengths that ICE and other federal agents will go to in arresting her clients. But she'll never forget about a case from last Thanksgiving. The father of a Marine had been detained at Camp Pendleton.
He was dropping off his son after they had Thanksgiving dinner, and his son was in the military. He went to the military base to go drop off his son, and at that point he was apprehended.
Another client was a woman simply looking for a cup of coffee.
She was dropping off her daughter. She dropped her off, went to get coffee. Coffee shop was closed. She put in the GPS that she wanted to go to another coffee shop, and it gave her the directions. And she drove as the GPS guided her onto a military base.
Immigration arrests at military bases were extremely rare prior to the current Trump administration. But last year, Marine Corps base Camp Pendleton launched a new security initiative with ICE and Customs and Border Protection. The aim was to deter unauthorized access to the military base by foreign nationals. And since then, dozens of immigrants have been arrested in San Diego's military bases and held at the Otay Mesa Detention Center. Jose Diaz is a Lyft driver who was arrested in March while trying to pick someone up at Camp Pendleton. He was detained for 6 weeks.
Te amarran de los pies, te amarran de la cintura y vas pegado aquí y vas con las cadenas que vas en la tronadera y eso a todo mundo le afecta.
Diaz remembers the humiliation he felt when federal agents put cuffs around his wrists, ankles, and waist. He's been in the U.S. for 4 years, has a valid work permit, works 3 jobs, pays taxes, and says that he has never gotten in trouble with the law.
Es como que buscan más para perjudicarte a ti. Entonces, eso yo le veo mal porque nosotros en este país no estamos haciendo nada malo más que trabajar.
Diaz supports deporting immigrants who break the law, and even the ones who accept government welfare without working for it. But he says it is deeply unfair to use criminal immigrants as justification to detain people who follow the rules.
Por tipo de esas personas es que nos perjudican a nosotros, a los que sí queremos trabajar aquí.
When ICE agents arrested Diaz at Camp Pendleton, he met 2 DoorDash delivery drivers who had also been arrested earlier that day. In fact, delivery and rideshare drivers have been arrested at military bases so often that they are now warning each other to stay away. They share their stories on WhatsApp and in Facebook groups. Valentin is an immigrant driver and organizer. He asked KPBS not to reveal his full identity due to his lack of legal status.
Entonces tenemos que tomar cuidado, aunque siempre es riesgoso.
He encourages all immigrant drivers to refuse trips into military bases, tells them just to cancel the rides, even if that means making less money.
De los que necesitan nuestro servicio, pues tenemos que a veces cancelarlos.
And that loss of income is significant. On weekends, driving sailors and Marines back from bars to their bases can be very lucrative. By not accepting those rides, Valentin says his weekend earnings have dropped between 10 and 15%. A Camp Pendleton spokesperson deferred all questions to ICE. A spokesperson for ICE declined to comment on individual cases, but confirmed that agents are helping verify identification at entry points in military bases. Jose Diaz no longer drives for Lyft or Uber. He now questions whether it's even possible for immigrants to have a safe and stable future here.
¿De qué vale ser una persona recta y justa en este país cuando tú aportas al país y el país te trata como delincuente?
In detention, he struggled to understand why he was even there and remembers asking his lawyer, Stephanie Alcala, why.
I don't have an answer, and I can't answer that. And it's frustrating because I can see the anguish in my client's eyes, and I just can't. There's nothing I can do about it, which is frustrating because I'm the person that's supposed to be able to fix it, and I can't fix it.
She does not see this as a security issue. None of Alcala's clients have a criminal record. Her theory is that the Trump administration is doing this because they know they can get away with it.
The detention primarily was because they could.
She is also telling all of her clients to avoid San Diego's military bases. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
The San Diego City Council has agreed to end paid parking at Balboa Park. It's part of an agreement with homeowners who sued over the city's trash collection fee. The city started charging for trash pickup from single-family homes last July. A group of homeowners said it violated a state law that says utility fees cannot exceed the cost of providing those services. Last month, the City Council approved a tentative agreement to resolve the lawsuit. The council agreed to reduce the trash fee and rescind paid parking at Balboa Park. The homeowners agreed to stop their efforts to put a complete repeal of the trash fees on the November ballot.
If that effort had been successful, it would have cost the city nearly $150 million in revenue for 2 consecutive years.
Free parking will resume in January. The city will remove parking meter kiosks from the park's lots and streets. People who've bought annual parking passes will get partial refunds. The city is also expected to reduce its trash fees for single-family homes starting next July, and that discussion is still in progress. And the San Diego City Council is expected to vote tomorrow on proposals that partially restore funding for parks, libraries, and arts and culture in the city's budget. But KPBS Public Matters reporter Jake Gatta says there's still more work to do to completely close the deficit.
The city of San Diego faced a $118 million deficit at the start of its budgeting for the next fiscal year. That led Mayor Todd Gloria to propose cuts to nearly every department, except emergency services. Among the cuts were arts and culture funding, library and rec center hours, and a team of traffic safety engineers responsible for designing safer streets. Gloria said at the time he was prioritizing what San Diegans rely on most.
That means staying focused on the fundamentals, keeping you safe, fixing roads and sidewalks, reducing homelessness, and building more homes.
Public outcry led the mayor's office to restore some funding for libraries and rec centers, prioritizing underserved communities. And a partnership with the county and the Previs Foundation was announced on Friday to restore most arts and culture funding. But it's still unclear if funding for the multimodal team of traffic engineers will be restored. They're the team that creates new, safer street designs when roads are repaved. At Friday's meeting, at least 12 speakers gave public comment asking for this funding to be restored. Aria Grossman, policy manager at Circulate Planning and Policy, said the team could be saved by reallocating street paving money.
I think that 12 fewer miles and new overlay is worth making the remaining over 250 miles safer as we repave.
But Councilmember Henry Foster III from District 4 questioned why the Transportation Department needed this dedicated team to design safe streets.
To come here and say, because we don't have a multimodal team, that we are impacting street safety, totally unacceptable.
The City Council will vote on that and other changes tomorrow, ahead of a final vote on the budget. The latest council wish list still leaves the city more than $15 million short, a gap that the council will have to close. And the deficit is expected to grow next year, according to the independent budget analyst Charles Modica.
That amount, as you heard, is likely to expand because you will have the additional need to further subsidize trash collection for single-family homes, and you will no longer be having revenue coming in from paid parking at Balboa Park.
Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera told KPBS ahead of the vote that a larger discussion needs to be had about the city's ongoing budget issues.
I know that we can find the resources, and I think part of that conversation happens in this budget cycle, and then there's a bigger, broader conversation as well about demanding that those who make the most here in San Diego, who take the most from San Diego, actually contribute their fair share.
Jake Gatta, KPBS News.
And here is a recap of the breaking news that we had at the start of the newscast. A fire that started in Sorrento Valley this morning has burned about 90 acres. Some evacuations were ordered for the area east of where I-5 connects with the 805. All are expected to be lifted in the next few hours. There are no reports of any damage to homes or any structures. San Diego Fire Rescue and CAL FIRE are working together and used several aircraft to limit the fire's spread. It's now at 40% containment. In recent years, one mobile app and website has become a leader in quickly notifying the public about wildfires. It's called Watch Duty, and it's a nonprofit run by a small team. Last summer, KPBS reporter Scott Rodd was able to meet one of its members who is based here in San Diego. Here's that story from the KPBS archives.
An automated notification flashes on Liam Winstead's computer screen, alerting him to a potential grass fire.
It looks like it's near the mall here in Carlsbad, along the 78 on the Oceanside border.
Now the clock starts ticking. Winstead is a staff reporter with Watch Duty. He needs to confirm if this fire is real and whether it poses any danger. Winstead pulls up live lookout cameras in the area.
I see there might be one super far away on Pendleton. There's this San Marcos Peak camera. I don't see anything super obvious.
He checks out traffic maps from Caltrans to see if there's a slowdown along Highway 78. Then Winstead pulls up multiple radio streams. He usually listens to 2 feeds at once.
So this is the Oceanside Battalion Chief telling the dispatcher to notify that Carlsbad has a possible vegetation fire. This is radio traffic from local ham radio operators, which is also picked up on this feed.
If you're picturing Winstead in a command center surrounded by walls of monitors and high-tech equipment, think again. The recent college grad is working from the bedroom of his UTC apartment. He uses a small MacBook, a single computer monitor, and a radio. But from this unassuming setup, Winstead carries tremendous responsibility. He confirms the Carlsbad fire is real and poses a danger to nearby residents.
It looks like we are going to upgrade the fire, so now everyone will get a notification.
Winstead sent the notification to Watch Duty's San Diego County subscribers. The alert lit up more than 500,000 phones. Watch Duty has only been around since 2021, but it's widely considered the app to use when you need fast, reliable updates on a wildfire.
If I've seen anything have the single greatest impact on engaging the public, this is the tool that's done it.
Ken Pimlott is the former chief of CAL FIRE, the state's fire prevention and response agency. He retired in 2018 after more than 30 years in firefighting.
Watch Duty has really found a niche that honestly needed to be filled as the fire problem continues to grow and across the western United States, but certainly here in California. People are hungry for information.
Watch Duty collects updates about wildfires and evacuations from a number of agencies and then funnels that information into an easy-to-use app. Paid staff reporters and an army of volunteer contributors monitor radio traffic to provide real-time updates. Before Watch Duty, you'd have to comb through a bunch of standalone websites, apps, and social media pages to glean that information.
We're trying to synthesize all the stuff that's going on, especially during the initial attack when a fire is first developing.
David Merritt is the co-founder and CTO of Watch Duty.
We're trying to make it relevant, not too much, not too often, but give people enough information to start making decisions on their own.
Merritt emphasizes that Watch Duty reports on updates and orders from official sources. It does not, for example, issue evacuation notices on its own. The app now covers 22 states and has 17 million users. That includes many firefighters and emergency responders.
It was a big surprise that the information gap also existed on the professional side. With mutual aid, with different firefighting agencies working together, there isn't a common operating platform for that.
Watch Duty offers multiple paid membership tiers, including one geared towards professionals. The basic version of the app, with the most essential information, remains free. Volunteer contributors played a huge role in allowing Watch Duty to scale up. Some are retired firefighters and dispatchers, others are fire tracking enthusiasts. Winstead, the San Diego-based staff reporter, started monitoring and posting about wildfires on social media in high school. He was a student at UC San Diego when he joined Watch Duty as a volunteer.
I was kind of all in. I was probably putting in like 10, 20 hours a week in college. And then when summer came, that kind of became like, instead of having an internship, I volunteered with Watch Duty.
He graduated with a degree in real estate development, but decided to stick with Watch Duty when they called offering him a job. While Winstead reports on fires across Watch Duty's entire coverage area, he specializes in the San Diego region.
Knowing where a fire is going to spread, knowing which communities are going to be impacted, you really can't understand without local knowledge.
Sometimes it brings him a little too close to the action, like in June when a fire broke out near his parents' home where he was staying at the time.
I went outside, and pretty soon after I started listening, the smoke kind of started billowing towards me. Ash started falling on my computer, on me.
Winstead evacuated out of an abundance of caution. He finished reporting on the fire from a nearby Starbucks as CAL FIRE planes passed overhead. Scott Rodd, KPBS News.
As we take a look at the big headlines here, one headline, the winds begin to relax, but the heat escalates through midweek, and the latter part of this week is going to be pretty steamy. We'll have rough surf, beach hazard statements in effect here this week. Beware swimmers and especially surfers. Just be careful out there. We have some extra dangers. Tonight, we'll get down to 61 near the coast. Those low clouds, the marine layer will be rolling back in. So it's going to be a nice Tuesday, but there are some beach dangers out there. You can see showers, thunderstorms in other parts of the interior west, but not for us. Low clouds in the morning will give way to plenty of sunshine near the coastline. 72 for your high in San Diego. Getting a little steamy again in Borrego Springs, and it's going to get hotter than that. 101 degrees for our Monday afternoon high. And again, a beach hazard statement in effect through Thursday afternoon for Southern California beaches, including areas from San Diego County all the way up through Orange County and up into Los Angeles County as well. The heat begins to build here in the deserts on Wednesday. Nice weather for some, especially to the north. We're going to get a little hot, though, into the deserts here beginning Wednesday. And there is still a wildfire risk that we've been talking about for several days, and that's still with us through Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just breezy enough, and it's still very dry. Farther east you go, the greater the fire danger will be. We're going to be steamy inland on Thursday. Winds drop off, but it's going to be really hot across the interior deserts. I wanted to point out Boris and Christina. Boris making landfall tonight, actually, in Mexico. And then Christina is going to be a storm that produces some flooding rain on the Pacific side of Mexico. Way, way, way to the south, though. We are really well protected by high pressure. But that strong ridge of high pressure is helping to direct that strong breeze. And that lateral wind kind of running along and at times inland will be the cause for some of those extra beach hazards, bigger waves. Coastal forecast, we're going to warm up a little bit, up to 78 come Friday. Inland areas, mid-80s, warming up a bit, but you get into the mountains and here the winds will drop off. We're going to be dealing with highs in the low to mid-70s. Then we jump a bit into the weekend. But the desert heat escalates. 105 Wednesday, 105 Thursday, still around 104 to 106 Friday and Saturday. So the heat's building. It's June in the deserts. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the News Hour, Israel and Iran halt strikes that had threatened to upend peace efforts. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup is just days away. 48 teams and 104 matches spread across 16 host cities in the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, with millions of fans expected to attend. Ivan Rodriguez reports on how one major host city is preparing its public transportation system.
If you're traveling to a host city for the FIFA World Cup, transportation is likely on your mind. Here in Atlanta, there's a direct route from the airport to the stadium. And they've made it pretty simple, too, with a new tap-and-pay system. Atlanta will host 8 World Cup games this summer, while some host cities like New York and Boston are charging up to 7 times the normal price to ride public transit to the games. For just $2.50 each way, fans in Atlanta can ride the MARTA train to the center of the action. In just under 30 minutes and one train transfer, here we are, Atlanta Stadium for the FIFA World Cup. Earlier this year, Congress appropriated $100 million for the 11 host cities in the U.S., preparing to welcome millions of fans. The U.S. Department of Transportation says the funding will ensure communities can expand transit options to meet increased demand in services to stadiums.
It's very rare that you get so many countries, coming into one country as like a guest. It only happens every 4 years. A lot of people forget the importance of that.
Flavio Nominati is an Argentine football loyalist and will be traveling from San Diego to Miami for a potential Argentina match in the knockout stage. Since the stadium is 17 miles outside of Miami, he's looking at the options Miami is offering in terms of transportation. That city announced it will be offering free shuttles to games from 4 hub locations. Fans will just need a match ticket to board. For its part, Atlanta is using funds to add to its train system, adding more CCTV cameras, Wi-Fi in the tunnels, and event-specific signage in stations. For someone who has traveled to many matches domestically and abroad, one thing he's been struck by this time is the cost.
The sticker shock for that was extremely real, extremely real.
And he's not alone.
I bought a hospitality ticket, which was very expensive, and another ticket for my kids, but we spent a lot of dollars on it.
A study found by FIFA and the World Trade Organization found this year's World Cup could add roughly $41 billion to global GDP. In the U.S. alone, it could be more than $17 billion in GDP generated. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Apple is updating the AI feature on its iPhones. It's being integrated with the Siri virtual assistant. It will be branded as Siri AI. The new features were revealed today at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. The change comes during a time of transition for Apple. CEO Tim Cook is planning to step down in September. And AI is something you'll navigate if you're looking for a job. Employers are using it to screen applicants, and job seekers are using it to gain an edge. Michael Yoshida has advice from experts on how to stand out in the hiring process.
Job hunting in a world of artificial intelligence.
There's a lot of different ways employers are using AI, but essentially they're using it in the first stage of hiring.
Before your application ever gets to a human, it might need to pass a first-round screening by AI. Indeed's Priya Rathod says that's why job seekers should also be using the technology. One key way to help is with what she calls keywording.
What does the job posting say? And how does your skills and experience match that? Make sure the wording corresponds, right? Because that's what the AI is looking for to pass you on to the next level.
But to keep you from getting lost in a flood of cut and paste AI applications, remember this.
In this world of everyone using AI to optimize their resume and cover letter, we're losing some of that individuality and that uniqueness. And you want to make sure you're highlighting that.
That could be laying out specific examples of impacts you've had, such as how you made a certain project more successful, what the goal was, and how you achieved that for your employer. And while AI tools make it easier for you to mass apply to lots of different openings, Rathod says you'll have more success by being targeted and applying only to positions that truly make sense for your skills and experiences.
You can't just keyword match and have the wrong experience. Eventually you are going to get to a human and they're going to want to see that what you put on that resume and cover letter and profile matches what you're saying in person.
I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya C. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 45 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.